இந்திய குடியரசு துணைத் தலைவர் பண்பின் இமயம் மேதகு CP ராதாகிருஷ்ணன் அவர்களுக்கு பாராட்டு விழா இன்று மாலை 5 மணியளவில் கலைவாணர் அரங்கம், சென்னை. தமிழகத்திற்கு வருகை தரும் இந்திய குடியரசு துணைத் தலைவர் அவர்களை வணங்கி வரவேற்பது AC சண்முகம், நிர்வாக அரங்காவலர், பாரத ரத்னா டாக்டர் MGR அறக்கட்டளை, சென்னை.
சென்னை கிண்டி IIT வளாகத்தில் IITM உலகளாவிய ஆராய்ச்சி அறக்கட்டளையை தொடங்கி வைத்த வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் ஜெய்சங்கர் முக்கிய நிறுவனங்களின் பிரதிநிதிகளுடன் கலந்துரையாடி வருகிறார். அதன் காட்சிகளை நாம் திரையில் பார்த்து வருகிறோம்.
Doing business, by helping tourism, by having people come for medical treatment. So this is the positive scenario. But you can also have bad neighbors. Unfortunately, we do. Now, when you have bad neighbors, and if you look to the one to the west, if a country decides that they will deliberately, persistently, unrepentantly continue with terrorism, we have a right to defend our people against terrorism. We will exercise that right. How we exercise that right is up to us. Nobody can tell us what we should do or not. We will do whatever we have to do to defend ourselves. It's a common sense proposition. Now again, as I said, a lot of it is goodwill. Many years ago we agreed to a water sharing arrangement, because the belief, the underpinning of that was, it was a gesture of goodwill, because for good neighborliness we were doing it. But if you had decades of terrorism, there is no good neighborliness. If there is no good neighborliness, you don't get the benefits of that good neighborliness. You can't say, I will, please share water with me, but I will continue terrorism with you. That's not reconcilable. So I think there is as I said, a good neighbor, bad neighbor, but an overall neighborhood policy. Most of our neighbors, I think, have, the realization that India's growth is today a lifting tide. That if India grows, all our neighbors will grow with us. They will have many more opportunities. I think that, in a sense, is the message which I also took to Bangladesh. And yes, they are right now heading for their elections. We wish them well in that election. We hope that once things settle down, as I said, the sense of neighborliness in this region will grow.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. We had all read about the economic crisis in Sri Lanka and how India was one of the first countries to step forward. That shows the effectiveness of our neighborhood first policy. Thank you, sir. I hope your question is answered. Any other questions? Can we have the lady over there? Can someone please give the mic to her?
Hello.
I'll take 2-3 questions at a time. It'll be easier for me.
Good morning, sir. My name is Sanjana. My question is, strategic systems often develop blind spots due to institutional incentives. So, what risks should India's what risk should India's strategic establishment? What risk do you think India's strategic establishment has been overlooking because it seems sort of unimportant or bureaucratically or politically inconvenient to address?
We'll just to make sure timeline is followed well, we'll take 2-3 questions and three questions.
3 questions at a time. I'll answer you. Let me take 2 more questions.
Can we have the lady over there ask a question, please?
Hi sir, I'm Vashni, I'm a BTech student, and my question is, as strategies are being more and more developed by AI, chips and data, how does our reliance on the Western softwares and technological guidelines and supply chains affect our digital dependency on other countries moving forward?
One more.
Anyone else? One last question before we answer.
Sure.
Can we have the lady over there ask a question, please? Can someone please pass her the mic?
Hello sir, I am Diya Lakshman. I study in class 10 at Kendra Vidyalaya IIT Chennai, and I would like to ask, as we know, diplomacy is often a game of high stakes patience. So I would like to know how you personally unplug or find clarity when you're in the middle of a
சென்னை கிண்டி ஐஐடி வளாகத்தில் ஐஐடிஎம் உலகளாவிய ஆராய்ச்சி அறக்கட்டளையை தொடங்கி வைத்த வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் ஜெய்சங்கர் முக்கிய நிறுவனங்களின் பிரதிநிதிகளுடன் கலந்துரையாடி வந்த காட்சிகளை நாம் தொடர்பான விவரங்களை பின்னர் வரும் செய்தி தொகுப்பில் விரிவாக பார்க்கலாம். முக்கிய நிறுவனங்களின் பிரதிநிதிகளுடன் கலந்துரையாடி வரும் நேரடி காட்சிகளை நாம் பார்த்து வருகிறோம்.
There is a risk because whoever is influencing it or controlling it or supplying it, they have an agenda. Everybody in the world has an agenda. So don't expect them not to use it. So part of, when we say Viksit Bharat, when we say Atmanirbhar Bharat, the whole idea is to motivate ourselves, and I say this to all of you, it's particularly your generation, because it's in your lifetime that Viksit Bharat is going to be achieved. That how do we build our systems and our, in a sense, self-reliance. Now again, people sometimes take it to extreme and say, oh, we are going back to the past. We know we had a protectionist sort of period which didn't work out so well for us. I agree. We had issues in the earlier decades. But that doesn't mean you open up all your doors and windows and let anybody who wants to walk in come into your house. I think we need a kind of a national spirit and a national capability and a national, belief about what we can do. And I give you a very, simple, direct example which relates to people in this room. 5G. This is a country which got its 3G from outside, which got its 4G from outside. But when it came to 5G, we realized the risks of 5G, reliance on 5G from an external provider is so huge that we should make an effort. So today, if you look at telecom, if you look at space, if you look, I'm really very happy that the defense sector today has opened up so much more to innovation and to private enterprise and to creativity. I think these are things we need to do. We should not be insecure. We should not be, hostile to something coming from outside, because at the end of the day we'll be connected, but we need to build our capabilities, and that's what it is about. The unplugging bit, look, in my life I don't have off days, okay? It's not like I work Monday to Friday and say Saturday, Sunday I won't do anything, because the world doesn't accommodate that. The world still runs on a Saturday, Sunday. And often my Friday is somebody's Saturday, and my Monday has to be somebody's Sunday. So my life is very mixed up. It doesn't operate on a single time zone. And as I said, there is no off switch, on switch. So what I try to do is within that build habits and practices and indulgences which make you a stable and reasonable and congenial person who can deal with the rest of the world. So I do what normal people do. I listen to music, I read books, I watch movies, I see sports. Most of the time I'm very normal. And that normalcy, I can tell you, in a way, if you build it into your routine, again, I'm sorry, I'm sliding into advice giving, which is not my normal, but if you build it into your cycle, If you build a physical routine into your cycle, you build give yourself some time to read, write, think, talk, watch. I can tell you your daily routine itself is so balanced that you don't need to unplug, but my wife is sitting here and she may contradict me.
So thank you for those tips, sir. I'm sure a lot of us can adapt these techniques to make smarter decisions. So we'll have one last round of 3 questions. So preferably from the student community. Can we have the gentleman over there ask his question? Towards the front.
Hello. Hi sir, Akshat here. I'm a student here at IIT Madras. I wanted to ask what strategies is India pursuing to handle the global mobility of Indian researchers and engineers while also incentivizing on the long-term talent retention here in India?
Anyone else? Can we have the lady over there ask a question, please?
Good morning, sir. I'm Arshada, BTech undergrad from Mechanical Engineering Department. So my question is, given the growing importance of technology, talent and trust in shaping global trade and influence today, how can India's top academic institutes and research institutes leverage global collaboration to increase the country's soft power?
One last question.
Give it to that guy. Give it to that guy. He's really.
Students.
Yeah, sure.
Can we have the gentleman over there ask his question?
Thank you so much, sir. So, most welcome to IIT Madras. My name is Sher Ali Mumand. I am an international student from Afghanistan. Perhaps I am the only Afghan student here. And I was involved in proposing 4 projects out of 6 for the development of Afghanistan that you have discussed with Mr. Muttaqi in your recent meeting in New Delhi, and would be happy to be part of the implementation on the ground. My question is that how you would assess the recent outcome of your discussion with Mr. Muttaqi or Afghan leadership, and if the outcomes are excellent or successful, so how will you start visa and ICCR scholarship for Afghan students?
I want to say I didn't know him and it wasn't a planted question. But there's somebody up there. I think I saw. We can take maybe one more. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take another question from someone over there.
Somebody up there.
Someone from the gallery area. Yeah, gentleman over there. Yeah, the one who's standing.
I'm speaking. Hello. Good morning, sir. My name is Tar Hania, and I am from Arunachal Pradesh. And I am also the student president of the Northeast Society here in IIT Madras. And I have one question for you. So my question here comes from China's behavior to the people specifically from Arunachal Pradesh. In this November 2025, there was a lady who was traveling to China and her passport was seized. She was considered and told that she was a Chinese citizen, and she was blocked in the airport itself. And this is not the only instance. In 2007, and also prior to that in 1980, there was one instance like this. So I just want you to ask, since I know a little bit of geopolitics, I want you to ask, what are your advices for the people of Arunachal Pradesh about this matter? Thank you very much.
So let me start with the first question on global mobility of researchers. You know, if I were to pick 3 factors in the near term, let's say in this decade, which would be truly transformational, one would be AI, one would actually be demography, and the third one I still haven't figured out because it's probably a blind spot. But demography is one of the hugely underestimated factors today in the state of the world. You know, anytime you have some spare time, just look it up. There are going to be societies who are actually looking at a demographic cliff, who are going to struggle with even, forget even replacement rates, they are actually wondering how they're going to keep their economy going. And this is happening at a very time when the other factor, AI, is going to create a very talent-centric existence where human beings will be repurposing themselves in a very potent way and in a very, very impactful way. So you have this very interesting conundrum. There is on one side a huge capability that is very visible. It's latent, but it's getting realized every day. But at the end of the day, yes, it requires compute, yes, it requires energy, but it requires talent. On the other side, you will have this very uneven talent pools, talent shortages. So how does the world actually try to balance out this spike in demand which is going to happen with the uncertain availability of it? And the only way is mobility. Now, mobility has issues because particularly irregular mobility can create backlashes. We have seen that happening in some cases. And again, on mobility, the social insecurities which are created by irregular migration, they counter the demands of the economy, the demands of technology. So you will have a scenario where, yes, there will be global mobility of people, but there will also be global mobility of tasking. That in many cases, enterprises or employers or people themselves will say, universities could say this, fine, you are in IIT Chennai, why don't I share this with you and why don't you work on this and let's see how it works between the two of us. So the tasking will also be far more mobile. Now in some cases you can't change it. If you're running an airline, you have to have somebody on a flight. On a cruise ship, you have to have. If you're running a hotel, you need people to manage the hotel. And by the way, each one of these jobs is today seeing enormous mobility. When I travel out, which I do a great deal, one big change I see is I see far more Indians today in different professions, in different positions than I have seen ever before in my life. Because that is one sign today of that demand and that mobility which follows. Now, when it comes to researchers, again, I don't think we should look at it as a zero-sum game. It's not like somebody goes out to work means we have lost them. Because experience has actually shown many of the people who've gone out have actually fed back in, triggered, there have been catalysts, there have been contributors, there have been pathways to building relationship. And this is the reality of it. The world will not be more autarkic. The world will be more globalized, but within the globalized, the really powerful centers will be, of course, more self-reliant. What will define a pole in a multipolar world is the pole, by its very definition, will be relatively much more self-reliant and sizable than competing nations. So I think this is a reality which awaits us. I see that trend actually growing. And flowing from that, the second issue, which is global collaboration. Again, there are, often when we think of global collaboration, we are psychologically inclined to think ourselves as takers. I think we need to gradually grow over that. We are also contributors. Many of the very examples I cited to you, if you have an IIT Madras campus outside India, you are a contributor. If you have a rescue force or a disaster response force which goes out somewhere, you are a competitor. You are a contributor. One of our challenges is going to be today, how do we shape the world, not only economically, not only security and, but also intellectually and in terms of knowledge. And it is, I think, the issue over the horizon that we need to address. On our friend from Afghanistan, look, I just want to say this. We have, as you know better than me, centuries of relationship with Afghanistan, which is very societal. There may be governments and regimes which have gone up and down. I think at the end of the day, we need to address some of the challenges because Afghanistan is going through a very difficult time. And they need to be addressed from the perspective, there's a kind of a people-centric or a societal-centric perspective that we need to do. And today when, we work with Afghanistan on development issues, on issues like, vaccines or food or even pesticides, these kinds of things, health, it is driven by that logic. And I had a very good discussion with my counterpart there, and it's something which I expect to see. Finally, the last question. Look, yes, there was this incident about, one of our nationals from Arunachal Pradesh, a lady who was transiting through China and who was, arbitrarily detained and, in a sense, I would say, harassed, inconvenienced, to put it very, very mildly. And we actually protested about it. And we not only protested about it, we also made the point that, look, there are two issues. By doing this kind of thing, nothing is going to change in reality. Arunachal Pradesh is and will always be part of India. And no, this kind of tactics is not going to change anything on the ground. But there is a larger issue. There are international conventions and regulations which govern the transit of people, and, we expect countries to abide by it. But I think this is an issue where we have a very firm and a very clear stance. So I hope you are very reassured on that score.
Thank you, sir.
சென்னை கிண்டி ஐஐடி வளாகத்தில் ஐஐடிஎம் உலகளாவிய ஆராய்ச்சி அறக்கட்டளையை தொடங்கி வைத்த வெளியுறவுத்துறை அமைச்சர் ஜெய்சங்கர் முக்கிய நிறுவனங்களின் பிரதிநிதிகளுடன் கலந்துரையாடிய பின்னர் மாணவர்கள் மத்தியில் அவர் ஆற்றிய உரையை நாம் பார்த்தோம். தொடர்பான விவரங்களை பின்னர் வரும் செய்தி தொகுப்பில் விரிவாக பார்க்கலாம்.